You're listening to the Sidewalk Prophet.
All right, let's get into it. Let's turn to, this is something that I found, and it's pretty unique. It actually reminds me of living in the hood, these scriptures, and it's in the Bible. So it's Luke 15, and we go from verse 15. And this is talking about the prodigal son. This is when he left his father's house. This is describing the place that he went to, you know, the place that he went to and the people that he was dealing with. And like I said earlier, it reminds me of the hood, you know, life in the hood. And let's talk about it. Luke 15:15. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country. And he sent him into his fields to feed the swine. And he would have fain to fill his belly with the husk that the swine did eat. And no man gave unto him. And so that's what this represents to me. So they're talking about the prodigal son. I mean, the prodigal son had servants when he was in his dad's house. But when he left his dad's house, when he left the will of God, let's just say that, when he left the will of God, he found himself in another country, in another land, feeding somebody else's pigs. So he was somebody else's servant. And it wasn't just that. He was feeding somebody else's servant. And the food that he was feeding the pigs, he wished he could have had. You know, he wished he could have filled his belly with what he was filling the pig. That's how bad off he was. And so, but the reason why I brought this up, it reminds me of living in the hood. And I consider the hood a place with limited opportunities. The hood is a place with limited opportunities. That's what that means to me. And the weird thing about living in a place like the hood or a desolate land or something like that, the weird thing about it is it doesn't matter how good you are. You know what I mean? Because the resources are limited because it's just not enough in the area. You know what I mean? It's not enough resources in the area no matter who you are. You know what I mean? So the only solution is just to come out. You just have to get out. You know what I mean? And not everybody has it to where they can just say, let me leave the hood. It doesn't work like that. But you can begin releasing your faith in that area and just say, God, I want to serve you better. Can you begin to take me and my family out of this? We want to live a different way. Can you move us out of this? And God will show you, he'll get you out of there. You know what I mean? So there are some people that are called to the hood, meaning they have callings that require them to live in the hood. You know what I mean? And God anoints them, God protects them, God blesses them while they're there because they're there on his accord. You know what I mean? And so that's one exception where I say, you know, you could stay, you know, it would be okay to stay. But like it's for me and my family, I knew I didn't want to live in any neighborhoods that were like desolate, less than opportunities. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it doesn't matter when you're in those areas. I mean, you could be a good person, you could be a hard worker, but because of the lack, they're just going to treat you a certain way, and it's just very limited. So, believe God. The sad part is about the hood. This is the real sad part. Most of the people there are good people. You know what I mean? If you go to the hood, you'll find a lot of hardworking people working 2 or 3 jobs. Because like I said, it's limited opportunity, so you have to work twice as hard. But they just don't have the mind, you know what I mean? They don't have the faith or the mind, or let's say they don't have the way of getting out. So, you know, some people just don't know how to get out. And so, but this is just me on that thing, man. If you find, and you know, a lot of times when I do these posts, I'm talking to my former self. I'm telling my former self what I would do in a situation. So yeah, man, if you have the opportunity, break out, man, get out. And the thing about it, when you leave, you don't just abandon these areas. You stay connected because you might need to help somebody else come out. Also, it could be something to where God just wants you to help bless a certain community or something. And pray over these areas. Pray that God bring change. You know what I mean? Pray that God don't just leave these areas like that. Pray that God bring change in these areas. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Sidewalk Prophet Podcast. For questions and comments, please email us at churchpodcasters.gmail.com.